Hey, what's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to another episode of The Road to Precipice, where I am going through the Blackstone Fortress with doing a campaign for the Hidden Vault. So right now we are in our second expedition, going into the third combat encounter, I believe, on this one. Things are starting to look a little rough for a couple of our explorers. 025 has taken a couple wounds. Rain and Rouse has as well. But on the upside, we did find the artifact for Rain and Rouse, so we do have some inspired halflings in our team at this point. So we're going to see what happens as we go into the next combat. It is looking like a little bit of a long doozy one, so I've got to figure out what I'm doing with here. But anyway, we're going to go take a look at the board setup and see what we're going to be facing in this next expedition. Our board is all set up here, and as you can see, we have a big one here. So we got 4 points in total, and the only escape points, the escape portals, are right back here. So for someone like to get there, that is a lot of movement, because he's still only moving 1 hex per die move. So we're looking at, let's see, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're looking at 10 turns minimum for him to get there without using Destiny Dice, because he's only down to one action die. But anyway, we have everything set up. We have our 4 locations ready to go. We are going to find out what groups we're looking at here. So group number 1, we are looking at some Negavo Cultists. Group number 2, we're looking at more Negavo Cultists. I actually don't have enough Negavo Cultists on that one, so group number 2 actually just kind of gave me an out. So that's fantastic. But I think for the purposes of the game, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to draw another one here. And we're going to get some Urgols in group number 2. We're going to get some debris, so it costs 2 hexes of movement instead of 1 to enter a hex with a cover hex side. So that gives me a little bit of breathing space, as there's no group in number 3. And group number 4, we have some more Negavo Cultists. We're going to put that one back because, once again, all 4 of them are already being used. Instead, we are going to get 5 Trader Guardsmen in group number 4. So we got some Negavo Cultists right back there. We got some Urguls in group number 2, which is back here. The group number 3 is actually empty, just some debris. And group number 4 will be some Trader Guardsmen. So we're going to get that set up and get ready to go. Got to figure out what our initiative is looking like now at this point as well. So going first, we're going to have Esper and Locarno, followed by group number 2, so the Urguls. Then Rain and Rouse. Group number 3, which there is no 3, so I should take 3 out because there is no group number 3 there. Then 025, followed by group number 4, which is the Guardsman, Janice Drake, and that should leave the Negavo Cultists going last. Now, I think in this case, Janice Drake is going to make use of his inspired ability to perform a free gambit. So we're going to take his agility die, and we're just going to try and, at very worst, he's going to switch with 4, but if he gets a critical success, he's going down to 2 for sure. So that is going to be a critical success, so him and group number 2 are going to be splitting. So that means for my first turn, all the enemies are going to be going last, and I am up first. Now we do need to find out what everyone's action dice are. So Rain and Rouse, we're looking at 3, 5, and a 4. So at the very least, there's plenty of double teams there. For we're looking at a 4. And I think is probably going to spend some dice this game trying to recover a little bit. For Janice Drake, we're looking at pretty good actually. 4, 5, 3. Okay, yeah, that's not too shabby at all. That's going to give him some room to work with, because I think he's going to go play with the Urgols to start off. And for Esper and Locarno, that 3 is cocked. So we got a whole bunch of 6s and a 3, and I have no idea what I'm actually planning on doing with Esper in here. So far, he really just comes along to modify my Destiny dice here. Speaking of which, we got, okay, so don't get that 4, but Esper and Locarno is going to give us the other one, and we got 4 Destiny dice to play with. So that means I am going to be able to do some stuff with as we go into the first turn of combat. And I think how we're going to start everything off is Esper and Locarno is actually just going to use all his dice, and he's just going to move over to spot number 3 there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh, wait a minute. 5, 6, 7. And unfortunately, because of the debris, that's actually going to take 2. So he's actually going to have to make use of a destiny die to get him into there. So he's used 5 dice to get there. And I'm going to take that last die there, the 4, and we're just going to grab spot number 3, and we're going to grab some Archaeotech, which is a 1 value of the Archaeotech. But that is going to be Esper and Locarno's turn in a nutshell. That will bring us to Janice Drake, and part of me really wants to run him forward to try and take care of some of those enemies up there, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually have him go down here, take care of the Urgles, because I think he has the best chance of catching up. So he's going to use 2 of his action dice. So just go 1, 2, 3. So I'll get rid of a 4 and a 3 right there. And he's going to start using some flurry of attacks. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any 6s. There are no 6s for him. So in this case, he's only getting 2 attacks apiece on these ones. So we're just going to do this one at a time. So we'll start with the Urgles that are in that little group there. And nothing, followed by nothing. Uh-oh. And he's going to do it again. Nothing. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Things are not going well here. I got to kill some of these guys. So we're going to use one of the Destiny dice to do this again. Okay, so at least that's 1 wound. Okay, so at the very least, he killed nothing. That is not good at all. Oh god, I hate to do this. I gotta use 1 more of his Destiny dice, and we're gonna do a pistol and rapier attack against the wounded one. Okay, so he killed 1, but that is not good. I think I'm actually gonna have to send some support down there, because he is now looking at very likely 9 attacks back, if not more, due to the onslaught. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to jump into Rain and Rouse, and we are going to do, let's see, if we do a couple double team actions. Yeah, we're going to do 2 double team actions. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And so sadly, that is a bunch of the dice. But then we're going to do another double team action, which is going to be the stub pistols, which are 2 purple dice. And hopefully, I'll be taking out another one of these Urgles here. So the first one, okay, so that is a grievous wound right there. So that is good. That takes out 1. And if I'm lucky, I'll get 1 more. No, I'm not getting 1 more. I'm just going to wound this last one here. So that is not as bad as it could have been, but it is still problematic. Because that just leaves me with and I think what he's going to do is he's going to use he's going to use his 1 action die to move into the corridor. Then he's going to use, he's going to use the Destiny die for that. Then he's going to use his 4+ here to do a recover action, which is the nice big blue die here. And he is going to recover, as much as I want to get rid of that grievous wound, I got to get rid of the regular wound because he needs a couple extra dice kicking around. So at least he was able to recover that one. So that is something, but that is the Explorer's Churn. So not as much done as I wanted to. Hopefully those Urgles don't cause problems for me, but we're going to find out. First enemy group up is the Trader Guardsman. So starting with the las gunner there, we are rolling a 13. Everything is hidden and out of line of sight. So we do have a charge action here. And for the life of me, I can never remember what the charge action is. I think it's a move followed by another move. Yeah, it's move followed by another move. So he's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, he can't, because I think, is it just the Explorers? Yeah. And so he's actually stuck back there behind cover. So we're going to do the Sergeant up next, and we're looking at a 1, which he's just going to hold. The guy with the grenade is a 4. He's just going to sneak. So he just moves up a little bit. The guy with the pistol and the combat weapon is a 13, so we're looking at a charge. So he's just going to get up there as well. And the Flamer is an 8, which is looking at an advance. And because there is nobody within range, he's just going to move forward 2. So that is the Guardsman out of the way there. Urgles are up next. Got to see if they reinforce. They do not on a 7. So now we just got to see what they're doing. So Urgle number 1, we'll do the wounded one, is an 11 who is engaged. So it's an onslaught. So he's going to be attacking twice. He's going to go after... Yeah, he's going to go after Janice Drake here. So he does get to make 3 attacks in this case. So the first attack is going to be a regular bit of damage there, or a regular wound. So I do have 1 defense die for Janus Drake, and he's going to take it. I think I'm actually going to use the Drake Skin Cloak, which exhausts to allow me to reroll for the character. Oh no. Okay, so Janus Drake is going to take 1 wound. So that's the first... was that the first attack there? Yeah, that was the first attack. Oh, geez. Second attack is nothing. Followed by... that's cocked, thankfully. Otherwise, that'd be grievous. Nothing. Okay, so that's good. So I got lucky there. And then the next one is going to do a 1. And with him being engaged on a 1, for some reason, he is falling back. Which, I mean, that's a little bit of the weird bit of mechanics right there. So with the fallback, he's going to double the movement and take the and make a move that ends in a hex not visible to any explorers. But there's not really anywhere he can go in this case, so he's just going to fall back to there. But that is going to get me, thankfully, through the turn. That brings us to the Negavo Cultists. So the first one is looking at a 3. So on a 3 result, it is a recharge, so there's no wounds to recover. Next one is an 11. So we're looking at an onslaught, which I think with the onslaughts, because there's nothing within range here, yeah, it's just attack and then attack again. So there's nothing for the onslaught. So far they're just kind of hanging out there. The next one is looking at a 3, so that's recharge. And then finally a 2, which is also a recharge. So the Negavo Cultists are basically just waiting for everyone to come and get them. So that does bring us to the end of the turn. We do have a couple casualties here. Rain and Rouse, seeing if they roll 2 under to get inspiration point. Nope. And Janus Drake, same deal. Nothing. And then the event table. We're looking at an 11 on the event table, which is an escape chamber. So basically we put a chamber on the furthest point away, which is just that one right back there. Moving into the next round, we need to figure out the initiative here. So going first, we have followed by group number 4, so that is the Guardsman, followed by Rain and Rouse. Group number 1, so the Negavo Cultists. Group number 2, the Urguls. Esper and Locarno, and then Janus Drake will be going last. So that is that does mean Drake is probably going to be taking a little bit of damage here, because I don't think... in each turn of combat, Janus Drake can perform a gambit without an activation dice. Okay, so I can still attempt to do that. So we're going to find out all our dice, and then we're going to find out what's going on. So our Destiny dice, what are we looking at? Okay, that one is cocked. So, unfortunately, we are looking at just 2 dice, thanks to Esper and Locarno. But that is something there. Rain and Rouse with their 3 dice are looking at 6, 2, and 4. So that is it's a little bit of good there. Then we have 025, who now has a 2nd die because he recovered a little bit. That 4 is cocked. So it's a 3 and a 4. So he's got a little bit more options on what to do. Janus Drake, that 4 is cocked. So 1, 6, and 5. So hopefully he'll be able to gambit up and take out some Urguls. And Esper and Locarno is loving those 6s. I got to get him into combat more, I think, because he's getting some great dice there. So now we're going to do a quick gambit with Janus Drake. Hopefully swap with group number... No, I don't know. I don't care. Group number 4, probably. That is a critical success. So he's going to swap with group number 4. So that is the new initiative order right there, and we're going to jump into it. Starting with he's actually going to spend his 4, and he's going to attempt to recover unsuccessfully. So what he's going to do is he's just going to spend his other die to move up 1 then as a result, but that'll be it for For Janus Drake, he's going to spend his 1, and he's just going to move right over there, and he's going to then spend his 6 to do a flurry of attacks, starting with the wounded one, and then hopefully moving into that one right there. So right off the bat, so that's a 2nd wound on him, and that is a 3rd wound, so that gets rid of the wounded one, and then on this last one here, it is grievous. So he's going to take out both the Urguls at this point, so he has cleaned up this back area here. And I think what he's going to do then is he's going to spend one of the Destiny dice to move in here. and then spend one more of the Destiny dice to grab objective number 2, and he's going to take advantage of that auspex of his. So he's going to draw the top 5, or top 6. What is it? It is the top 6 cards, and just choose one. So we got Architect, and mind you, I'm looking for a clue. Oh, secret. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go with the secret coordinates. Just because I can give that Esper and Larcarno, and it's always good to have them inspired. However, I do think that that is all the stuff that Drake can actually carry, so he is pretty much tapped down at this point. So let's move on to Rain and Rouse. Rain and Rouse are just going to spend their points, and they're just going to basically catch up with everyone. So they're going to spend all 3 to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, they're going to move into there because they don't want to be cornered by the Negavo Cultists, because that would be very bad for me if that were the case. But I think that is where they're going to stick. And then Esper and Locarno, he's just going to spend his dice to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and he's just going to end his turn right there. And he's going to use his last 6 to basically become an Overwatch die. Because hopefully, you know, someone will move into a position where he can shoot him there. You know what? I got the order all wrong here. So first off, we got to do group number 1. So group number 1 is the Negavo Cultists. So the first one is moving a 20. Moving a 20, which is a rush. So in this case, it moves and then takes a charge action. So as we looked up before, the charge action basically is a move, and then if there are no explorers adjacent and visible to the hostile, it moves a second time, basically, if it's not within range of the attack. So the first one here, and these guys got a movement of what? It's a move of 3. So it is 1, 2, 3, and then it's 1, 2, 3. And then with the charge, there is someone within thing, but it's not within range. So he does have to just move once more just to get within range there. So the next Negavo Cultist is looking at a 13, which in this case is an onslaught. So he's just hanging around. Next one is a 15, which is also an onslaught. No, sorry, these are charges. Charges, my bad. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then this guy over here, because we rolled the same thing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then this last one here is a 12, which is also a charge. So we know he's going to get to there. So we're going to have to deal with these Negavo Cultists as they come barreling through here. Next up is group number 2, which is the Urguls. Do they reinforce? They do not. So that brings us to Esper and Locarno, who is going to use all his dice to get there. Then he's going to take that last die that was a 6, and he's going to beat that one guy in the face, that Negavo Cultist in the face with his Force Orb Cane, which is the D12 here. For nothing. So I'm going to actually make use of my last Destiny die, that 5, and we're going to do it again. For 1 wound. So not a whole lot there. But that is the board state at the end of this turn. Basically, there's a giant causeway here that I got to get through that's all blocked up now. So let's take a look at the next, or the end of turn phase. First up, let's see if Drake gets an inspiration point. So looking for a 6 or under here, which he does. So he actually gets another inspiration point. So he is sitting at 3 inspiration points at this point. Now he's already inspired. So these are dice that will allow him to start modifying some things. So I really should start doing that. And then we have the event die, which is going to be an 18. And on an 18, we're doing a heroic effort. So the leader picks an explorer that is out of action. There is none. And make a vitality roll for him. If no explorers are out of action, the leader picks an explorer, make a vitality roll for that explorer. So there's only one person who can actually make and succeed a vitality roll right now. No, I as much as I want to do it for Drake, I'm actually going to do it for because, you know, he's going to need it. So is going to get nothing back. He still has that grievous wound, but that is going to be the end of that turn. Let's find out what the initiative is. And going first, we have group number 1. So that is the Negavo Cultists, which is not good. Esper and Locarno. Group number 2, which is the Urguls, followed by Rain and Rouse. Janice Drake. Group number 4, which is the Guardsman. And finally, 025. So that is not good there, because that's going to be a lot of Negavo Cultists going in there. So Rain and Mouse, their dice are a 6 and 2 3s. And then 025 is looking at a pair of 4s. Let's see if he actually gets a chance to use them. Janice Drake, 3, 3, and 4. And Aegisbrand Locarno, some 4s, 2, and a 5. So right off the bat, what we're going to do is we're going to see if Janice Drake... Oh, and almost forgot here, the Destiny dice. Oh, wow, sweep. So we actually got all 5 here. What is that, a Yahtzee sweep? I don't know. But we got all 5, so that's good. So first off, we're going to see if Janice Drake can do a gambit here. And it looks like he will successfully gambit. So, yeah, you know what? He's going to swap with group number 1 here. And at least give a little bit of breathing room as we jump into turn 1. Or, well, whatever this round is. So with Janice Drake going first, he is going to try and get as close as he can. So he's going to spend his first activation die to just go 1, 2. Then he'll spend the next one to go 1, 2. And that does put him within 3 there. So his next one is going to be a pistol and rapier attack against the wounded Negavo Cultists, which is a grievous wound. Now, something I've been forgetting to do with the Negavo Cultists is they do have the Voltgeist Field ability, which basically allows them to possibly negate a wound. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 to the dice roll for each of the Negavo Cultists in the same hex or adjacent. So we're adding 4 to this. On a 20, that wound is ignored. So thankfully it only goes to a 19. So that is going to be 1 dead Negavo Cultist, which is going to help me out considerably here. And I think what we're going to do is, I think we're going to spend 1 of the Fate dice to get into the same hex as 025 here. And we're going to spend 1 more die to do 1 more pistol and rapier attack against another one of these Negavo Cultists. For nothing, though. So that is Janice Drake all finished up. Aegisbrand Locarno is going to spend his 2, and he's going to do a 3rd eye attack against the Negavo Cultist there, which is grievous, but on a 16 plus it's ignored. Nope. So that is 1 grievous wound down there. Oh, I took the wrong guy. I took another guy here. And he's going to spend the 2 from the... Oh, that's already been spent. He's going to spend the 3 from the Fate die, and he's going to do it again. This one's just a regular wound, which is not ignored. And I think what we're going to do is... I want to try and get rid of some of those guys. So we're going to spend another 4 here and do it again. Okay. And this time we're looking at 18 plus to ignore it. So that is ignored. He's going to spend another one. It's grievous. So that is going to knock out another one of these Negavo Cultists here. So that's excellent. But he doesn't have line of sight on anything else at this point. So he is actually just going to hang out there, I think. So he basically gets an Overwatch die on a 4 plus. We now move into Group 2. We got to see if the Urguls reinforce. Which, in this case, they are, because of course they are. So, let's see here. On a 3, I believe, for them, they're getting 2 Urguls back, which are just going to be spawning back right back here. And they then get a movement of 3. So, 1, 2, and unfortunately that's as far as they can get because of the hex limitations there. So they are stuck there. But Group 2 is back in action here, which does bring us to Rain and Rouse. And I think what they're going to do is they're actually going to try and thin out this herd of guardsmen over here. So they're going to do a double team action to go 1, 2. And so that's a 3. And then they're going to use another 3 to do a stub pistol attack against, I guess, the las gunner first. So that is a grievous wound. So that's 1 down. And then the other stub pistol attack is just a regular wound. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to spend another 1 to do another stub pistol attack. So nothing, followed by grievous wounds. That will take out another guardsman there. And I think they don't have a 6. Oh, they're inspired now. So sniper rifle. So they're going to spend... Yeah, they're going to spend some they're going to spend some Destiny dice here. And we're going to have a sniper rifle attack. We're going to try and take out the guy with the flamer. It's just going to be 1 wound against him. So we're going to try it again. Nothing. So just 1 wound against the guy with the flamer. And that is going to end the hero's turn. So we're now going into group 1, which is the Negavo Cultists. First up, do they reinforce? Thankfully not. So what does the last one do here? It's going to be a 5. And with the Negavo Cultists, they are, well, they're basically just looking at a charge. So he's just going to go, "Marr," like that. And basically, no matter who he attacks, it's kind of bad for me, actually. So I think what we're going to do, because there's no defense dice being rolled here at all. Oh, I want to be able to do something. Sorry, Rain and Mouse, you are getting attacked, it looks like. So it is just the purple die. So thankfully it's nothing too bad here. But it does ignore cover and no defense rolls can be taken. So thankfully nothing is happening there. So that's good. And then group number 4, which is the Guardsmen, do they reinforce? They do not. So jumping in here, the guy with the flamer is doing a 15. Let's see here. So a 15, he is not engaged. He's not in cover. He's just close. So a 15 is a charge. So he's just going to get right up there and then just go to town here. And the flamer is, the flamer is a nice big blue die here. So against Rain and Rouse, nothing. Okay, so we got lucky there. The guy with the grenade there is looking at a 5 result, which is an onslaught. So he is just going to attack in twice. So it's just right over there. There is cover though, thankfully. So we're just looking at the. Oh, hold on a second. It's a blast, so there is no cover here, and it is going to be nothing, thankfully. But it's an onslaught, so he does attack twice. So it's going to be a regular wound so far, but we do have a defense die, the purple one, which will block it. Okay, that's great. And then we have the sergeant up last, who's looking at a 20, and on a 20, it is a fury. Oh, no, because he's not within 3, it's going to be a rush. So in this case, the rush is move towards the closest explorer and then take a charge action. So 1, 2, and then he will charge in. Oh, well, he'll charge in behind cover here. And then he will make an attack. So this one is going to be a pair of the purple dice against Rain and Rouse. For nothing. Okay, because I don't think he gets to rerolls on those. Let's just double check that here. No, there is no rerolls. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so that is going to end their turn. So that brings us into Ur's turn here. And he is just going to attempt, he's going to use his 4 to do a Power Claw attack against the Negavo Cultists, which is going to be a grievous wound, taking him out. So the ones I was actually really worried about are thankfully taken out. And he's going to spend that last action to try and recover his grievous wound. Unsuccessfully. But that will bring us to the end of the turn. At the end of the turn, we do have some inspiration to see if we hit. So Esper and Locarno looking for a 6 or under. Nope. And then Janice Drake. No. 025. Nothing. And Rain and Rouse. Rain and Rouse actually will get a inspiration point. And we have the event table up next. So we have a 7 for the event table, which is changing conditions. So we have to draw an encounter card. If there is a twist, we have to figure out what's going on with it. And it is just Guardsman, so no twist, thankfully, as we go into the next turn. Starting off with initiative, and we got group number 1 going first. So that's the Negavo Cultists, followed by Esper and Locarno, then Rain and Rouse, then the Guardsman, and then the Ghouls, and then Janice Drake. So Drake, in fine fashion, will attempt his free gambit successfully. So he's been really good at that. So he's just going to swap with group number 1 here, because why not? And he's just going to be first in the pool here. And then Rain and Rouse, there are 3 action dice. 4, 4, and 3. With his 2 action dice are looking at a 3 and a 6. Janice Drake with his 3, 4, 5, and 2. And then Aegisbrand Locarno is looking at, oh, that cocked. 2, 3, and some 5s. Okay. So I got some stuff to work with here. And then we do have the Destiny Dice, Fate Dice, whatever you want to call them. That one is cocked. So we have, once again, no doubles. So I actually got 5 dice to work with. So that's fantastic. All right. And that's going to bring us into the first move of this new round. Janice Drake, being the bold adventurer that he is actually going to spend all his movement, and he's just going to go up to the Urguls right up there, because he had to spend, let's see, 1, 2, and then a third one to get there. And then he's going to use the 6 in the Destiny Dice to do a flurry of attacks to try and take out these Urguls. So the first one is nothing, followed by 1 Grievous Wound, and the last one is another Grievous Wound. So, him being the heroic one that he is, went up there and just took out the 2 Urguls without too much thought. And I think what he's going to do is he's going to spend 1 more action just to get over... Oh, no, he's not going to bother, actually. So, he's quite happy there. That is going to bring us to Aegisbrand Locarno. And I think I'm at a point where I don't know if I really want to bother with that point. I think Aegisbrand Locarno is he's just going to try and get out. I think we're going to get into this combat encounter. So that's going to be 1 die, 2 die, 3 die, and then 4 die right there. Which will bring us to Rain and Rouse. And they're just going to get on a dodge as well. So that's 1 double team action. That's another double team action. And that's a final double team action to get out there. And then I'm going to do something... no, is just going to get on a dodge as well. So he's going to use 2 Fate Dice to go 1, 2. And then he'll use his 1 regular die to get 1 more. And then he's going to try and recover that Grievous Wound, which will become a regular wound at this point. So we're moving ahead a little bit. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Before we actually do that, I got ahead of myself. Group number 4 needs to go first. So first off, do they reinforce? They do. They do reinforce, because of course they do. So they're small bases, so they get, basically they're back to full strength here, which was, what was it, 5 Trader Guardsmen. So they are back to full strength, and now we got to find out what they're doing. Sorry, just placed them wrong there. They actually go to the nearest portal. So, unfortunately, they're both in a position where they have to attack the nearest explorer, which is going to be Aegisbrand Locarno. So, they are both guys melee and pistol. So the first one is looking at a 10. They are within range 3. So we are looking at a charge result. So he's just going to get right in there. And with his thing, he's got the 2 purple dice. So it's just going to be a regular wound, but Aegisbrand Locarno does not have much in the way of defense. But he'll block it. Okay. And then the next guy is looking at a 13, which is also a charge. So he's just going to get in there. And same deal here. Thankfully, nothing. So Aegisbrand Locarno got off lucky there. Which brings us over here. We're going to start with the Sergeant, I guess. And the Sergeant is looking at a 4. He is out of line of sight of everything. So in this case, it is just going to be a sneak. So the Sergeant is just going to end right there. Let's do the guy with the grenade next, which is a 19. So he's looking at a charge. So he gets stuck there because unfortunately, he would actually be stuck there because of those defensive hexes. And then we got, let's see, with a charge, and then he moves again to get over the thing there. And then we got the flamethrower, which is a 15, which is a charge. So he's just going to get right in there, which is going to give him line of sight to I believe, in this case. So he is just going to go to town on here with his nice big D12 for a grievous wound. Will thankfully save it. Okay, so that is good. Now is going to do what he was originally going to do anyway. So he's using 2 dice plus the third, and then he's going to do his recover roll, which, as we already, for the sake of this, I'm going to do it legit. Does he recover something? He does not. Yeah, I'm going to do that one legit because I got the timing wrong on all that one. So that is going to bring us to the end of this this phase. Got some kills here, but Janice Drake does not care at this point. So we're just going right to the event die, which is a 10. And on a 10, we have changing conditions again. So we got to see if we get another twist here. And in this case, we have a blackout. So the maximum range just became 3 for all hexes. So I don't think it's really going to be an issue with everyone getting bunched up there. But we are getting to a point where we're going to have to get off the board because we're going to start taking a lot of attacks. So let's find the initiative order. And we're starting with Rain and Rouse, followed by Janice Drake, 025, Esper and Locarno. Okay, that's great. Then we got group number 4, which is the Guardsman, 2, which is the Urguls, and 1, which is the Negavo Cultists. So there's no need for me to do any sort of gambits here. As far as the Destiny dice go, that 6 is cocked. So I'm getting 2 dice out of all that. So I'll take the 6 and the 2. Geez, I almost want to keep Esper and Locarno in the group just for that ability. And then Rain and Rouse is looking at a 2, 1, and a 6. So that's a stub pistol, a double team, and maybe a sniper rifle. Is looking at a 5 and a 2. This is Janice Drake, is looking at 5, 2, and 4. And Esper and Locarno, 4s, 6, and a 3. Okay. So we're going to see how many of these guys we can take out before it becomes problematic in this next turn. Rain and Rouse going to do a double team action just over to there and using their 2. And then we're going to do a bunch of stub attacks. So I think using the 1, we're going to see 1 stub pistol attack against one of these guardsmen for nothing. Then using that 6, we're going to do a pair of stub pistol attacks, which will be nothing. And 1 grievous wound. Okay, so take out one of these guys right there. So that's fantastic. Janice Drake will spend his 2 die to get into this hex right here. And then he's going to do a flurry of attacks using the 4. So we're going to grab here. The first attack is going to be a regular wound, followed by a regular wound, which is enough to take out this other guardsman. And then I think his last, he's going to take one of those Destiny dice just to get over here. And you know what, I got to double check to see if I have enough room to grab another card. He does not, so he's just going to keep moving there, which will bring us to 025, and he's actually just going to use, he's just going to do 2 movements to get to there, and he's going to spend 1 to try, one of the 5, because he's using a Destiny die, he's going to spend his 5 to try and recover a little bit, which the Grievous stays a regular wound. And then Esper and Locarno, he's going to spend 1 die to get in there, he's going to spend another one to grab a clue token, and then he's got 2 more, which he's just going to use 1, and then 1, 2. So Esper and Locarno is ready to go. But that does bring us to the enemy turn. Starting with the Trader Guardsman, do they reinforce? They do not. So, let's see, what does the Flamer do? The Flamer, on a 20, who is out of line of sight, is going to rush. So move and then charge. So it's going to be 1, 2, and then he will charge in. So he'll just get right next to there, and then do an attack with the nice big blue die here, which is cocked. Alright, got lucky there. And then the guy with the grenade is looking at a 16. So in the case of 16, we are looking at a charge result. So he's just going to go 1, 2, and he's got a range of 4 here. So with the grenade, he is throwing a purple die, which is going to be a grievous wound. Okay. But thankfully there's no one else in the same hex there. So we're going to find out what happens to Uh-oh. Okay. And then with the reroll. Oh, okay. So is taking a grievous wound. So he is, he's looking a little rough. And we get to the sergeant now, who's looking at a 3, and he's just kind of holding there. So the sergeant's playing it very safe. But that does bring us into group number 2, which is the Urguls, who will not reinforce, and then the Negavo Cultists, who also will not reinforce. So that'll bring us to the end of everything. So we're going to do the event die because we don't care about the inspiration right now. And on an 8, what are we looking for? Once again, changing conditions. So we have some loose cabling. So make an agility roll for an explorer that moves into a hex with a discovery marker. If the roll's failed, it suffers a grievous wound. So at this point, we're actually okay because I got that last discovery marker. The only one left is number 4, and I'm not even going for it. So that's going to take us to the end of the turn. All right, let's find out our initiative, and we're starting with the twins, Rain and Rouse. Then group number 2, the Urguls, followed by Janice Drake. Group number 1, which is the Negavo Cultists, Esperin Locarno, who's pretty much where he wants to be, and group number 4, which is the Guardsmen. So the Guardsmen are moving last year, so that is excellent. I think I'm happy with that rundown there. So Rain and Rouse are looking at a 6, 3, and a 2. Is looking at a whopping cocked die, whopping 2. Fantastic for that's great. And then Janice Drake, we got 2, 4, and 4. Okay, and then Esperin Locarno, that 2 is cocked. So we got a 3, 1, 5, and a 6. And then we got our Dice of Destiny here. And so we're only getting one of those 4s, but the rest are going into our Destiny pool, which is great. And that will bring us into this combat round. And I think we just want to get out of here. So Rain and Rouse are going to do a pair of double teams to get into the portal there. Group number 2, the Urguls, will not reinforce, thankfully. Is... Oh, geez. Oh no. Ur's in trouble, actually. I don't know what to do here because it takes 2... It costs 2 hexes of movement instead of 1 to enter a hex with a cover hex side. Can only move 1. I don't know what I do in this instance. Okay, I gotta quickly look that up. Thankfully, after a little bit of research, I did find my answer. I have been forgetting that does have the rush ability, or if I spend a 4+, he actually gets a movement of 2. So in this case, I can use some Destiny dice here, so that'll get him over to there. He's going to use another one to move 2 more, and just get into the lift there, which will bring us to Janice Drake, who is going to jump into the lift as well, which leaves us not a lot left. So we're going to see if Group 1, which is the Negavo Cultists, reinforce, which they don't. Esperin Locarno is happy where he is, which brings us to the Guard, which are reinforcing. Okay, so on a 1, they're going to get basically back up to full. So they're just going to pop in right here, and they will do a move action to get as close. Or no, they'll pop in right there because then they can just attack Janice Drake or there. So which they will do. So they're just going to, let's see, they're 3 away. There's no cover, and they're just going to be looking at the big gray die here. So let's do it against Janice Drake. That's 1 regular. And Drake, who has his purple defense die, will block it. And then the other one is a Grievous, which Drake will also block. And that brings us to the last Guardsman here. So the guy with the Flamer, who's out of line of sight, he's just going to hold. The Grenade on a 6 is going to sneak. So I'll just take him a little bit closer. And then on a 4 is also a sneak, which will bring the Sergeant in there. So that is going to bring us to the end, and they have escaped into the Maglev. So our heroes have successfully escaped that combat encounter, so we do have to finish everything off. So we're going to see if Janice Drake can recover any of his health here. So he rolls on the purple die. So he is still going to have a regular wound, and then and here's the tricky one. So is going to turn 1 into a regular wound, and then he will get rid of that. So what that does is that does mean that I'm now sitting in a position where is doing a little bit okay, but I'm kind of stocked up on things. You know what? I think that is going to be the end of this this expedition. I know I still have 1 combat and 2 challenge encounters left, but I think at this point I want to sort of like vary up the team a little bit, get rid of some of this loot, and just kind of head back to town. So that is going to be it for now. Our adventurers are going to head back to Precipice, where they're going to buy, drink, and be merry, and hopefully get some good stuff. And I think the next one, yeah, you know what? I have enough clues. So the next one, we are going to be going into a stronghold. So Thank you all for watching. As always, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And be sure to watch the Precipice video where you'll see all the different gear that I buy. And we'll find out what the legacy step is. And well, I guess then we'll find out what Stronghold are doing. So thank you so much for watching. Like, comment below. Be sure to like and subscribe. And we will see you all later. Happy wargaming.